Kusumataji. So wonderful to connect with you, especially because of the relationship between Swami Bua and Chinmoy, and you are maintaining the religious committee in a good way. I appreciate that part. Now I can be part of that group too. So I always appreciate all of your work. Thank you. Appreciate. Next speaker, Dr. Frank Kaufmann is the president of 12 Gates Foundation and the advisor to the World Yoga community. So he's a professor, a teacher at the UTS seminary too. Now long time friend. And very interesting to see how he mobilized spirituality in different way. That's the thing I felt. A lot of time people have so many titles and reverends, doctor, they are involved with some big organizations. Then the one part they lose, the ego will come and burn them up. But for him, no. Dr. Frank Kaufmann, floor is for you.
Thank you very much, Guruji, for your kind words. Thank you also for organizing this event and the tens of events, your tireless dedication to this noble cause. I'd like to thank also all the speakers prior to myself from whom we've learned today, and not only from your messages for today, but also for the work you've done in the world throughout the course of your lives. And our world and all of us are better for your contributions. So the wisdom we hear in the moment, of course, comes from a life of dedication. I'd like to thank the musicians who performed for us today, because the music is a direct window to heaven. We can all things resolve for a moment and we're at peace. So I'd like to thank you, Guruji, for putting together this remarkable event today. I'd like to speak, because this is an interfaith event, or it involves an effort for religions to work more closely together. I'd like to speak just about religion just for a moment. For some reason, all human beings, everyone ever born ever, is either tempted by or constituted by some serious problems that we bear. One is that we tend to be proud. Another is that we tend to be idolatrous. And another is that we tend to be brutish. In our pride, we fail to surrender to God, the all-loving, the infinite, the divine, and have an inclination to make ourselves more important than God. In our idolatry, we tend to connect to things less than God and make them absolute in our lives. And in our brutishness, we are either brutish towards one another, or we are brutish as Ms. Peterson just described, Professor Peterson, that we're brutish also to our planet, our home, our mother. So religion has the mission and responsibility to address these problems by teaching us how to become closer and closer to God. Those horrible characteristics dissolve and subside. We come closer to the love of God and no longer inclined to put ourselves higher. We come closer to the love of God, and we're no longer inclined to attach ourselves to other matters that we believe are more important than that relationship. And we come closer to the love of God and inherit the love of God and begin to treat one another compassionately and begin to treat our earth with care and gratitude. Every religion does this. All religious believers, by following their leaders and their scriptures and their traditions, grow closer to God, and these horrible qualities that we all have subside and decline. So for this, we're grateful for every religion. We're sorry that for many understandable reasons, religions clash with one another. And we're grateful that at around 1890 or so, religions began to wake up to that it's a bad idea to clash with one another, and slowly begin to understand that the care of our brothers and sisters is in the hands of people we should support. So the interfaith movement that we are celebrating today is about 130 years old in this present time. And it is the awakening to the fact that every single religion that is helping every one of our brothers and sisters rise out of these horrible conditions of being prideful, of being idolatrous, and being brutish, that we need to help one another and support one another. That's what this work is, and that's what we're grateful for the opportunity to do. We have different parts of life. I'm about to close, Guruji. We have different parts of life. Religion is meant to address this part, our pride, our idolatry, and our brutishness. If we go to the gym, we're making our bodies better, or studying nutrition. If we go to school, we're making our minds better. But for religion, we are bringing one another to God so that those problems can go away. The greatest threat to religion is those who are hostile to the effort to bring people to God. These are teachings, teachers, activists, and ideologues that hate God, hate religion, and hate the effort to introduce the divine into human affairs. Their teachings and ideologies of separation and of conflict and of atheism and materialism. They are against our shared goals and purposes and desire to save one another through Islam, through Hinduism, through Buddhism, through Christianity. Every one of these traditions is trying to help rescue God's children. And there are those who are committed in passionate ways, pouring billions of dollars against that effort. So as we work together to support one another and advance the ideal and mission of interfaith work, let us be cognizant of that we need our solidarity and our mutual self-protection, as Imam Shamsi said, to fight for one another, to protect one another from those who are hostile to the very mission that we share as an interfaith community. Thank you very much, Guruji, for a moment to have a word with all of us. I'm very grateful for the invitation to be at this fantastic and edifying event. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Dr. Kaufmann. It was inspiring words. You are always in my phone. Anytime I can call you, anytime I can message you. One of the friend in New York City. Appreciate. I'd like to invite Sami Nava Nanma Jana Tabaswi. Is the director of Shantigiri Ashram from my state. Maybe some of you don't know my state. It's Kerala.